For those of you who aren't familiar with ayahuasca, this is a combinatory hallucinogenic beverage that is in use in a wide area over in the upper Amazon basin, and now it's spread down into Brazil. There are a number of interesting things about ayahuasca. On one level, what's interesting about it is that there is nothing in it that is not in the brain of each one of you as you sit here. It is, in a sense, not a drug at all, but a neurotransmitter cocktail. And this is very suggestive, you see, because it means that natural brain chemistry is very close to being some kind of hallucinogenic trip. The other thing that's interesting about ayahuasca is that in the Amazon basin, where it's been used for thousands of years, the people get together in small groups at night in dark places and they sing. They get loaded and they sing. And then when you sit with these people and listen to them discuss their experiences, they talk about these songs not as though they were musical performances, but as though they were pictorial creations of some sort. In other words, someone will say of a song, "I like the part with the silky gray stripes and the yellow dots, but when you got off into that thing that was like camouflage, only in pink and violet, I didn't like that." I think, my God, what's going on here? Well, what's going on is that this slight shift in ratios of neurotransmitters allows sound to be beheld. This is the nature of this experience. So these people sing these songs, but the recipient of this theatrical performance sees a kind of sculptural modality come into being. Well, if you can see what someone else is seeing, if you can have someone else's point of view, in a very real sense, you are that person. We say to stand in somebody else's shoes means to be them. So a naive person, or at least I thought, in thinking about telepathy before I went to the Amazon, that telepathy would be hearing somebody else think. That's not what telepathy is. Telepathy is seeing what somebody else means. And this is very, very close to the surface in us. It's no strain for me to imagine, knowing what's in ayahuasca and what's in the human brain, to see human brain chemistry as essentially poised just a 1 or 2 gene mutation away from a shift in brain chemistry that would cause language to become visible. There's this tradition of a magical lost language of perfect poetry. It's said that the ancient Irish and other Aboriginal peoples possessed a poetic language so powerful that to hear these poets perform was to literally be swept into the worlds of their recitation. I think what that is that we hover very close to being able to cross the transition from audially processing incoming linguistic signals to being able to visually process them. And when you can visually process them, when you can visually process someone's linguistic intent, you are much more in tune with them, much more intimately involved in their meaning than if you simply hear what they say. And that really, for me, is what I think these psychedelics are doing. They are clarifying, catalyzing, densifying language, and therefore the connections that hold us together, and therefore the connections that hold our world together and make reality make whatever sense it does make.
What is the state of the legality of importing, possessing, and taking ayahuasca?
It's in a limbo. There was a Brazilian cult called Santo Daime that was holding ayahuasca sessions in the Boston area, and they had a load of ayahuasca come through customs that was stopped, and the guy who went to pick it up spent a night in jail. But when it was all sorted out, a judge took a look at it, and basically, since nobody knew what it even was, they were given a slap on the wrist and told not to do it anymore. So it is in a kind of legal limbo. DMT, which is what makes ayahuasca go, is a Schedule I drug. It's in that hardest of hard drug categories where they put all the psychedelics, heroin, and very little else, not even cocaine. The definition of Schedule I is no medical application under any circumstances, and cocaine is used in certain kinds of eye and throat operations, so it has a medical application. Drugs like psilocybin and DMT were made illegal in 1966 and 67 without any scientific evidence being offered that there was anything wrong with these things, without any record of emergency room admissions or any medical problem whatsoever. It's possible, if someone had sufficient energy and money, that these cases, these matters could be raised again with the law, and they would have to show why these things should be illegal. It was basically a moment of general social panic brought on by LSD hysteria. You know, it's Tim Leary. I give him credit for this, although he always tells me he can't remember saying it. But I believe that Tim Leary once said, LSD is a drug capable of causing psychotic behavior in people who have not taken it. And this is what happened in the 1960s. A whole bunch of people were driven psychotic by not taking LSD, and they made it illegal.
How do we translate these ideas politically? I'm active with the Green Party. How do we change people's minds? Give them a Terence tape.
How do we translate these things politically? Well, one way is by coming